All right, this afternoon, we want to thank you and welcome you to the John Mayaki Show. It's a special edition today. Today, we want to discuss the polity again, 2023. I especially want to focus on Labour Party. What is Obi up to? Obi is everywhere. Kaduna State Governor is not happy over the planned rally in Kaduna State. And so today's topic is going to be El-Rufai's mock on Obi's proposed rally in Kaduna. El-Rufai said, no, Obi should go and sit down. You can't get 200 people in Kaduna State, except you are going to import people where on Monday they don't go to work, they sit at home. The situation there does not allow them. Look at what El-Rufai is saying. El-Rufai says he's just laughing Obi. How come? And so today we are going to host the national youth leader of Labour Party, Comrade Eragbe. And he's also the senatorial candidate for Edo North Senatorial District in the 2023 election. You're welcome, Comrade.
Thank you, Mr. John Mayaki.
Thank you.
Comrade Eragbe Anslem.
Yeah.
National Youth Leader, Labour Party.
Yeah.
The Edo North Senatorial candidate for the party in the 2023 general elections. Let me say quickly, I'm the first executive president of the Ahmadu Bello University Students' Union Government, ABU Zaria, 2002 to 2004. So I say this to state a point ahead of this discourse.
That is quite interesting.
Kaduna, Zaria,
yes.
This is my base,
okay.
The Northwest.
Oh,
so we are
good.
Here to engage.
Ahead of El-Rufai's. Okay, that is quite interesting.
Very well.
APM, Labour Party has been, it looks like everybody, the major political parties are worried about Labour Party. Obi is here, Obi has no structure, Obi is on Twitter, Obi is on Facebook, Obi is on social media. What does that worry you?
Well, basically, everybody needs to be worried because the youth of this country have made a statement. They have risen up to rescue this country. This is what this is all about. It has become obvious. The PDP, the APC, all of them are seeing the reality. So this is the reality. So the structure you are talking about is the people.
Do you have the people? Do you have the people?
Certainly, you should know, really. The entire labor movement force in Nigeria, the Nigeria Labour Congress, the Trade Union Congress, the trade unions, the political commission of the labor movement are in sync with the Labour Party. 7 other political parties.
Do they hold meetings with you?
Oh, certainly. Of course, you are aware that the Labour Movement, NSC, registered the Labour Party in 2003. Then as Party for Social Democracy.
Are you saying workers in the local government, NOG, National Union of Road Transport Workers, and all TUC, and all of those are Labour Party members?
Everybody, the automatic Labour Party
It is one thing to be in the Labour Union and not be a party member.
Oh, certainly, be rest assured, like I said, the Labour movement, the Labour Party is the baby of the Labour movement. All of these persons are members of the Labour Party.
Are you galvanizing them?
Oh, certainly. The entire political commission of the Labour movement, they cut across the 774 local governments in Nigeria. Probably because the campaigns have not begun. That is why people still think or are still asking for the structure. But I have a duty to explain, to tell Nigerians, that the artisans, the market women, the trade unions, the political commission, the students, the downtrodden, these are the owners of the Labour Party. And of course, the party for the first time is here to do the needful, galvanize the people. Of course, the people are sufficiently galvanized, even as we are talking.
In terms of structure again, when we say structure, you have this presidential, we have the governorship, we have the senatorial, we have the House of Rep, we have the House of Assemblies. It's Labour Party. Do you have members? Do you have people contesting on all these platforms?
Well, certainly today is 16.
Yeah.
In 2 days' time, the INEC will publish the list of the candidates. Now, for the first time, it will become very obvious to Nigerians that the Labour Party has featured candidates into all the elective offices in Nigeria. Wherever elections are going to hold in the Federal Republic of Nigeria for the 2023 general elections. So this is the beauty of what is coming. So even when you talk of even the structure, we have fielded candidates into all of these positions. So I think that fact will be obvious in few hours, probably
Look at
48 hours.
Look at Kaduna State, where
Yes.
the governor said, "Oh, there's a proposed rally for Obi." The governor is saying, "No, you can't get 200 people." Except, are you going to hold the rally on Twitter? Obi, the governor is saying, Erufai is saying, "Look, I'm just laughing. You can't get 200." Is it true?
That's not correct. Like I said, personally, I've lived in Kaduna State, Zaria, long enough. Like I said here, I am the first executive president. I'll be in that rally.
Executive president of where?
Of Ahmadu Bello University Students Union Government, ABU Zaria.
What year was that?
2002 to 2004. It's exactly 20 years ago. Our structures are all over the places. In Kaduna State. Mind you, Kaduna is a cosmopolitan setting.
Yeah.
It's the first capital of northern Nigeria. It's like the FCT.
Yeah.
You have the tribes of Nigeria domiciled. So this is not a secluded kind of setting. You say, okay, it's limited to a particular. No. All Nigerians are there in Kaduna State. The northerners are there, the southerners are there, the Muslims are there, the Christians are there, the elites are there. Mind you, Kaduna is an elitist setting.
Yeah.
So the population is a conscious population. The setting is equally cosmopolitan. So, I mean, it will be an aberration for anybody, particularly the caliber of His Excellency Erufai, to demean the personality and capacity of Obi, knowing fully well that the youth of this country, have taken a position as far as rescue Nigeria is concerned. So I think the days ahead, His Excellency Erufai will have cause to retract this statement. With the reality is going to be confronted with. Like I said, the NSC, the TUC, the trade unions, we're all coming together. The support groups, even though we know the campaigns have not begun. Even should we stay aside as a political party, the people on their own, themselves, the support group, the population, the number is large enough to make that statement. So let's wait for that statement.
There's this issue of when you say Obi, we don't no shishi. What is the meaning of that? Is it that you need money to galvanize, to mobilize people for election? And when we hear people hear no shishi, it seems people get discouraged, or how do you?
Well, basically, Obi has come to change the trend in the body policy of Nigeria. The polity has been infested with what's it called? Well, I don't want to use the word corruption. It has been just like we've seen recently, vote buying, monies moving here and there. But this is a case where the people themselves haven't recourse to history to say, we are here, we are now convinced on the need to change the narratives. So the people on their own are doing the mobilization, are spending their own money. There cannot be a better struggle more than where the people themselves have taken this struggle upon themselves. So this is the case. So when we say Obi does not give shishi, of course he doesn't give shishi. There is no Nigerian today that can say Obi has given him or her a dime. And yet the people are mobilizing to this magnitude. So, of course we are aware politics require a lot of funding. Again, the people, as the national youth leader of Labour Party, I'm inundated with calls for the party to provide an account for donations. So, across the length and breadth of this country, people call me on a daily basis, national youth leader, give us account to receive donations for this cause. So, Obi doesn't need to give shishi, because the people are ready to put their shishi. And it's going to be a maximum shishi at the end of this exercise.
Wonderful.
Yes.
But it doesn't seem to reflect in recent elections. For instance, Oshiomhole and Ekiti election. The acting of the Labour Party doesn't reflect a party that is serious for governance.
Well, you see, with the benefit of hindsight,
yes.
Mind you, our presidential candidate came on board effectively on the 30th of May.
Yeah.
It is barely 2 months plus. And the elections leading to Osun and Ekiti, predates his arrival and emergence as the presidential candidate of the Labour Party on the 30th of May 2022. Now, because, of course, these other parties had gone far in their preparation. Now, the Labour Party, let's give it to the Labour Party as well, because we agree we're not on ground at those levels. But anything after the Osun election that just took place recently, let me tell you, the vote that Labour Party got, even from Osun, was a manifestation of the fact that our presidential candidate came to this stage. That's the reality. But I can assure you, going forward, for every election that takes place going forward, the Labour Party is most likely to win. Most likely to win, even though but as we go to the presidential elections, we know by the grace of God.
Will Labour Party participate in the upcoming local government election in Osun State?
Well, like I said, every elections going forward, after that governorship candidate will participate actively. Okay. Because we have every reason now, because we have a presidential candidate. Yeah. National elections are confronting us. The Senatorial, the Houses of Assembly, the State Assembly. So these are elections we are involved in. In 2 days' time, when INEC probably would have published the list of candidates, be they every other elections, whether local government elections, the Labour Party will participate very fully. Okay. And we shall make our marks.
Okay, let's look at Obi himself. Yeah. People say we are going to campaign on achievement, personality, your record of performance. Let's look at, you see, Obi was a governor for 8 years. Can his achievement sell him for the presidential election? That is number one. Number two, do you see an Obi defeating corruption if he becomes president?
Okay, probably let me start with the second one, then I go to the first one. Now, Obi has a record. In Nigeria today, if you look at the antecedents of administrations, let's say since 1999, the advent of this democratic dispensation to date, there are very few, if at all there are, former governors who have escaped the lenses of the anti-graft agency, the extent to which Obi has escaped. Because we are here to have records that showed that Obi has been indicted or is being investigated or has been accused or is found wanting over how he PFAT state funds, other than the fact that he left billions in the state coffers, even as at the time he was exiting the state government. So in terms of corruption, he is a human being. We are not saying he's a saint, but in terms of administrative prowess, he has proven to be the best Nigeria has produced in recent past. Now, this record has set him on the stage for the presidency of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Now, his record of prudence, accountability, the extent to which he impacted the lives of the people, the welfare, the well-being of the people, the development of the state, Anambra State. I think by record, verifiable records, like we say always, go and verify. So if Obi said he did A, B, C, D, they are verifiable. Yeah. But we are here to see anybody who has come back to say the points or the issues we said you should go and verify are unverifiable. They have all been verified. Now, coming back to the earlier question, that had to do with, remind me of the earlier question, corruption. Yeah. Like we said, what Nigeria needs today is a purposeful leadership, a leadership with unblemished history. Obi epitomizes that. Incorruptibility, prudence. He has the capacity. Knowledge is key. Capacity and capability are other issues that should be attached to. Obi has the knowledge. He has proven severally, he has displayed his knowledge of the economics. He has displayed political knowledge. Now, he has been able, look at him go around the country. He has not discriminated nor made statements that shows that he is not coming to be a national president. As much as the opposition is doing everything to give him a name that, is not his. Obi is a nationalist. He has proven it. He's proving it. His antecedents, his history, his track records, they speak for themselves. The reasons, part of the main reason young Nigerians are calling for him today is because of his personality, his records in governance. So these are the records we desire in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And above all, he said, the only way to move forward to rescue this nation is to begin to engage the idle hands. There are too many idle hands in Nigeria. The unemployment issue. Obi has made it clear that Nigeria, of course, is a country of over 923,000 square kilometers with fertile, arable land, body of water, natural endowment in solid minerals. All that is remaining is to harness the human potential by way of capacity building to be able to manage these resources in terms of productivity optimization. So part of what we are coming to do, basically, like he has said severally, to move Nigeria from consumption to production and to change the formula from sharing to production. So it's all about production, and this is what Labour Party epitomizes. productivity, labor, dignity. So basically, I think these are the issues.
According to our guys, say go and verify.
Go and verify.
Okay, we'll find time to verify all
Very
of
well.
this. We'll go to the issue of your manifesto. But before then, people say, oh, Obi said he saved a lot. I didn't drink a bottle of water. I took pure water in office. I don't have a car. My son has no this, no wristwatch. I saved that into the coffers of the state. I didn't. Do you save money instead of working with money?
Now, basically, Nigerians need to understand, you couldn't be talking about saving where you have not done the needful. For Obi to have been able to save funds, like you said, Obi left Anambra State without owing anybody. And he paid off the backlog, the arrears of pensioners. I don't know of another country, another person, another governor that has achieved this feat. I don't know. For him to have paid back backlogs, for him to have engaged hands, for him to have done the measure of development he attained in the state, infrastructure, education, health, payment of arrears, salaries, and yet was able to save. I mean, he couldn't have saved, because if he saved monies and people came back to complain that, oh, we only paid our salaries, we only paid our arrears, our gratuity, our pension, then you are saving money, then that would have been a useless venture. But of course, there are no backlogs, and there are verifiable strides of development, and yet there are savings, because it takes wisdom and foresightedness to even make savings. Look at us today as a nation. What is the extent to which we have saved, or our savings? We don't have savings. Even if we have, these are pittance compared to what we should have. And we say, I am coming to ensure that we rejig the economy. Of course, rejigging the economy is not going to do it in isolation. By the grace of God, some of us are coming into the legislation. Like you are aware, it is the legislative arm of the government that determines the direction for a government. Now,
okay, now look at the spread, the national spread of an Obi candidacy. You have the southwest, you have the southeast, and you have the north. Do you see Obi performing in the southwest? Do you see Obi performing in the north? Because his running mate doesn't look also popular in the north. How do you see that? Well, even in the southeast, there are governors who are saying no. No, we are not obedient. We are not. The Southeast governors say we are not. That is his own enclave. Okay. What do you do with that?
The good thing in Nigeria is there is demography. Let me have recourse to demography. The youth of this country constitute the greater number of voters. That is one. And it is this demography that is committed to the rebirth of this nation through their vote. Now, Nigerians suddenly have become obedient and useful. Yes, useful, because our vice presidential candidate, you see, the most dangerous thing in life is to underestimate a man. No, never do that. Senator Yusuf Dati is a man, one of integrity. Is a man of vision, and is focused. And this is a man the youth are rallying round. Now, you may want to demean his personality, to say he's quiet. Oh, you cannot do this. No, but what we are saying is the youth of this country are behind these credible people. They have so identified. This is the hallmark. This is the difference. So, in the days ahead, because the establishment may choose to say, oh, you are not going anywhere, like the statement you made, in the southwest, mind you, the southwesterner, considerably in Nigeria, you can give it to them in terms of their level of enlightenment. They see beyond the ordinary. What they quest is viable leadership. I mean, they have seen one. I was born in Ibadan. Yes, I grew up in Lagos State. The first 20 years of my life, I spent it in the southwest. So you can say I'm a Yoruba man. So, but I can tell you that in the southwest, they are going to vote for the Labour Party because they know what the Southwest represent. They know good leadership when they see one, even in anticipation. They know the extent to which the education in the Southwest, not just, in the country, particularly in the Southwest, has dwindled. For instance, growing up, during Jakande, that was when I started my primary school. My primary school, my secondary school, up to 1991 in Lagos, was free. Free education. Not just free, qualitative. I've had cause to relate across this globe. The measure of education I had in the Southwest is the measure of display I display up to today. That is to tell you that measure of quality. So, but it has dwindled. So, if you go to the Southwest, the industries, where are they? The agriculture, where is it? The engagement of the people, where is it? So what they are looking out for is exactly what is before them. And I can tell you, Obi is not a regional champion. No, Obi is a national figure. And the regions of this country are committed. You see, it's amazing the level of acceptability for Obi across the length and breadth of this country. But it can only be better. So I think these are the issues. So again, to come back to the issue of our vice presidential candidate, you see, fortunately, it comes from a very strategic part of this country. It's from that state. And like I said, Kaduna State being the focus, the focal point of northern Nigeria. And it is from this focal point that he was identified to become the vice presidential.
Is he a Kano man or a Kaduna man?
Yes, a Kaduna man.
From Zaria?
Yes.
Some other person say he's not a Nigerian.
Well, he's a Nigerian. There is no way he would have.
His forefathers are not Nigerian?
His forebears, everybody, they are Nigerian. Well, needless to go into that history.
Okay, let me take it this way. Tell us the strength of Obi across the geopolitical zones.
Well, basically, the beauty about Nigeria is the cosmopolitan setting of Nigeria.
Yeah.
That is the beauty of the entity called Nigeria. There is no locality in Nigeria today you will not find other tribes, that you will not find other religion. So, it is this spread that gives Obi's movement a national coloration. I'm here to see the first part of Nigeria where Obi is not being mentioned or referred to in the course of this. I'm here to see the first part. You go to Sokoto, you see signal is everywhere. But like I said, because campaigns have not begun, we can understand the reason why the aggression or the display in some places may still be low. But again, we have our vice presidential candidate. And I have to say this severally on social spaces. Before the advent of the coming of our vice presidential candidate, where people had wondered whether Obi will be able to make inroads, I said no. A lot of discussions were ongoing, a lot of alliances were being built. By the time our vice presidential candidate emerged, there will suddenly be an upsurge. And immediately emerged, there has been an upsurge.
Okay, people see and identify Obi as an IPOB thing, an IPOB supporter. They see Obi supporters as IPOB people.
Okay.
And that a vote for Obi is the vote for IPOB. Have you heard of that?
Yes. Now, you see.
Is that true?
That's not true. Again, IPOB, let's ask, what is the agitation about IPOB? Now, that agitation was about inclusiveness.
No, they want to go. They want to have the Biafra.
Yes. There's a reason. What is the reason for the agitation? Has that reason been dealt with? At a level, some persons in the Southeast saw the level of marginalization in terms of political occupancy. These are issues. And it is that exclusion, political exclusion, that called for the agitation of the IPOB. So what we need to do is to address that agitation, that exclusion. Now, Labour Party saw wisdom. Like I said, I gave analysis on social space to say, if you look at the history of Nigeria, the regional history, there were 4 regions as of 1963, prior to the advent of the coup. The northern region, the eastern region, the western region, and the midwestern region, where I come from. Today, Edo Delta. Now, ordinarily, I said, we from that axis should have been agitating for the presidency. But notwithstanding, if you put so many other factors together, now the reason the Southeastern are agitated or have been agitated because of the exclusion, some of us say, okay, let them have it. And Labour Party, in the wisdom of the leadership, saw into all of these things. And by the time we saw the capacity and credibility of the president of Obi, it was easier for the party to go for him. I was a presidential aspirant for the 2023 general elections.
What party is that?
Labour Party. Yes. But internally, like I said, you see, what is fair is fair. What is just is just. What we see coming is for the stability of this nation. And for this nation to be stable the way we anticipate, it is only natural justice, equity, fairness, fair play for a Southeasterner to become the president of Nigeria, particularly in this coming dispensation. But again, not just a Southeasterner, a very capable Southeasterner, as epitomized by the personality of
Do you see the chances of Obi brighten if he was a vice presidential candidate, running mate to Atiku?
Well, no, I do not. You know, the reason I say that today is this, because in political processes, there are factors. Of course, you have administrative factors, but in politics, you have the factor of the people. For instance, democracy is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. Now, it is the people. Now, mind you, it is majority issue. Who are the majority today? The youth of this country are the majority. They've suddenly woken up from slumber to realize their place in the scheme of things. And it is this realization that's about to bet the rescue mission that we are on now. So, this is it. So, the youth of this country, with recourse to them, that is not to discountenance the valid vote that will be cast by our parents or the older generation. But the government of the people, for the people, and by the people, the majority of the people, the youth of this country, are making a statement.
What lesson can you draw, before we go to your senatorial ambition, what lesson can you draw from Kenyan election? You saw what happened in Kenya.
Yes.
Yeah, what lesson can we draw in relation to Peter Obi's ambition?
Well, of course, in life, there are bases for comparative analysis. Mm-hmm. And there are equally distinctive issues as it affects matters. Now, let us say the takeaways. We have structures. The social media hype, of course, like I tell people, is always for the information. For instance, we're on the social space now. The world is watching us. Those who have not seen me probably are hearing from me now. But then, going out of this place, we must be able to put the structures in place. Again, I've had this to say. The Labour Party is putting in place a 5 million man physical mobilization structure. 5 million man structure. Now, our projected minimum expected vote delivery for the 2023 general election for the presidency is 45 million. So the structure over a factor of 9 gives us 45 million. And over a factor of 15 gives us 75 million. So we smell the victory already.
I hope these are not mere projections, a pie chart,
no.
bar chart projections, and PowerPoint projections that somebody has come to sell to you.
No. Like I say, we have put up what is called the Labour Party National Mobilization Platform. It's a portal, a website that has 6 portals. When you go into that portal, you will see how Nigerians on their own, themselves, those with eligible voters, valid PVC, are identifying to vote for the Labour Party.
Valid PVC?
Oh, yes. Because what we have done,
I hear most of these supporters don't have PVC.
Oh, no. That's not correct. But like I said, what we have done is, if we come out to make statements in the days ahead, we are talking authoritatively. We are talking with facts. If we say Nigeria eligible voters have identified to vote with the Labour Party, we say that authoritatively because you cannot manipulate this result or this database. You cannot. You come in singly as an individual. You log on. You register. I want to become part of this movement. That portal issues you a membership card with 6 unique IDs. The first ID is called a national ID. It tells us how many people there are from now to the election and beyond. The second ID is called the state ID. It tells us how many people in every state that have identified to vote for our presidential candidate and are with Labour Party. The third one is called the local government ID. Again, we're able to see and know authoritative how many people in each local government are with the Labour Party. The fourth ID is called the ward ID. It tells us how many of our supporters are in every ward in Nigeria. The fifth is called a polling unit ID. It tells us exactly which of the polling units are you to vote. So what I'm saying in essence, authoritatively, is Labour Party has put in place structure such that we will know, we're already knowing Nigerians that are eligible voters that have identified voluntarily to vote for the Labour Party.
What is the figure like now?
Oh no, needless to needless to give you that figure now. Okay. But I have to say this at a level to let you know that measurably, statistical compendium between now and let's say let's say November or December. We will come out in public space by the grace of God to say we have won this election ahead of the election because we have a comparable statistics in terms of what the expected total eligible voters are, registered voters, to those who have identified voluntarily to vote.
Ahead.
Oh, there's a major surprise. There's a bigger one, really. As much as the INEC has made tremendous input into the electoral system. We thank the National Assembly, the Electoral Act, the biomedia machines and the rest of them for accreditation. This portal will provide a shocker. The shocker is such that at every polling unit in Nigeria, 176,864 of them, there will be a returning polling unit agent of the party that will have code to impute the results of the polling unit election into the portal to be displayed globally on the spot while we wait for INEC to announce the final result. So what that means is the era of declaring fake results, it will be a thing of the past. So it's going to be very practicable, very physical, and the results will be before us. Even activities that will take place around the polling unit areas are going to be sufficiently covered.
Well, are you saying in a polling unit where article, for instance, is you see people, you see me here, I'm standing here, you want to vote against me?
Oh, the good thing with the voting process or processes is it's a secret ballot, open secret ballot.
Yes.
But again, like we say, ahead of time, we will know, even in articles polling unit, Labour Party will know.
Did you see the crowd yesterday in his place? Did you see that crowd?
Oh, normally, like we say, these are political times. These are political times. Mind you, in most cases, the same crowd that will besiege articles, activities, the same crowd that will besiege obese activity. In most cases. But there will be a measure of separation. There will be a measure of identifying the reality. It is that measure that Labour Party has already put in place.
You are not afraid money can sway those voters. Money can sway them. Have you seen the level money played in the last primary election, even in the Oshiomhole and Ekiti election, that money played major role? Does Obi have that watches?
You see, the joy of what is before us in the country is there's a whole world of difference when a politician is this person doling out all the money. Of course, like we tell Nigeria, as much as we discourage that act now, we're equally here to encourage Nigerians to see you are going to vote your conscience this time around, again, on what you believe. For those who claim they have so much money, we advise them to keep their money because their monies cannot buy this process this time around. But if you still choose to give the money, we tell people take the money, but then go ahead and what? Do the needful. And what is the needful? There is a trend here. There is a conviction.
Okay. Now, again, two more questions before we go to your senatorial ambition. people see most of the guys who participated in the NSAS as Obi supporters, and when you see people on social media, people generally people see Obi as a supporter of the NSAS. You know the NSAS.
Yes.
It wasn't a palatable experience,
Yes.
and so people say we are expecting another NSAS with Obi. Is that true?
What is coming in 2023 will be bigger than the NSAS.
How? I don't understand.
Now, when I mean bigger than the NSAS, I mean the level of commitment to which the youth of this country want a new country.
Okay. Not rioting.
No. The NSAS, it was the infiltration of some elements that created the discord in the movement. The NSAS movement proved to be the most organized movement in the history of this country at the onset.
Yeah, at the onset.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, we had not seen it like that until there was infiltration. And of course, you know where the infiltration came from.
I'm not too sure I'm aware.
Yeah, but again, as youth, we have learned from what happened in the NSAS. We've learned. So why I said a bigger than NSAS is coming is, this time around, we'll guide against those infiltration. This time around, the level of awareness, because what is the desire here? The desire is for a better country. What was the issue of the NSAS? Security brutality of the Nigerian youth.
Yeah.
Accusation over issues of maybe internet scam and so many issues. But the irony of this is we need to change certain level of mentality here. You don't find people with laptop doing their individual businesses and to accuse them of that you don't have a laptop or that you are not IT savvy. I mean, it does not preclude that every other person who does that is a scammer. So this became an issue, and so many things happened prior to the NSAS struggle.
Somebody has given a bet, somebody has dropped a $10,000 bet to say Obi is not going to come first, second, but even distant third.
I, Eragbe Anslem, the National Youth Leader of Labour Party.
Are you ready to drop?
Oh, I'm ready to bet with that person to say, you see, the beauty of what is coming is...
You are ready to bet $10,000?
I am ready to bet. I can bet with any Nigerian.
So it's a challenge.
I am ready.
It's
Eragbe Anslem, I'm on the national television to say whoever wishes to bet that Obi will not emerge. Eragbe Anslem, being the national youth leader, I have the support of the youth of this country.
Yes.
I'm speaking on their behalf.
Yes.
Like I said, the recent PVC registration, even though we still have reservations as to why INEC cannot continue, but we had expected that they continue. But part of the reason is because 90% of those who registered came purposely because they want to come and vote for Obi.
90%?
Oh, sure.
You are sure?
Oh, very well.
The one in Lagos, the one
Everywhere.
in Kano?
Everywhere.
You sure of that?
Everywhere.
Wow.
Of course, 75 or 85% of, by statistics, of those 12 million voters are people of are youth.
The fact that they are youth doesn't mean they are obedient.
Oh, they are not just obedient now; they are even useful. That's the beauty. So they have even gone beyond just being obedient to being obedient
so
and
useful.
Oh,
useful to
because
themselves and the
our
country.
vice presidential candidate is Yusuf, and Obi is obedient. Is Obi then useful is useful.
Useful, yeah.
So the youth of this country have become more obedient and useful.
I agree with you.
So I think it can only be
yeah.
better for this country with what is before us.
The ongoing university strike, this will be the last one before we go into your ambition. The ongoing university strike seems to be, and there's this online, there's this television soap opera that people watch. They say the obedient people, immediately they started that program on TV. Obedient guys were already glued to the TV. They were not interested in Obi winning election again because they want to watch what was going on in that area. Somebody remind me what was okay. Now then, that is on, and the strike thing. That students, by the time they call off the strike, students will no more be interested in what is they want to face their education, and that you guys are latching on the strike to make use of the youth.
Let me. What has happened?
Are you happy the strike is ongoing?
That is the lamentation I'm just about to give. Let me sympathize first and foremost with the system, the university or tertiary institution sector and system in Nigeria, it becomes unexplainable, because if as a country we continue to miss it on education, it then means we are not going to get anything right. And this is one area our presidential candidate has emphasized more than any and every other area: education. Its quality, its stability, its funding, its delivery, the capacity to be built, you know, by the people. Because see, Nigeria cannot move further without building the capacity of the people. First and foremost, you need qualitative education. It has to be stable. So to this, our presidential candidate and his vice presidential candidate are committed. Now we sympathize with what is happening. By the grace of God, you see, I'm in the research institute sector in Nigeria. Yes. Again, I'm the National Organizing Secretary of the Academic Staff Union of Research Institutions in Nigeria, ASURI, in the last 12 years. So, of course, you know, ASURI is the sister of the ASU, while we are in the Research Institute sector. Of course, it is our own activities, ideally, that should develop this country to the level we expect. While those in the university, of course, give the learning and the knowledge desired. Now, there are certain landmarks we have achieved as the Academic Staff Union. The federal government can attest. Under our own leadership, we have been able to source enough funds to rejig the research sector in this country. And until that is done, you cannot be talking of national development, because the hub of national development is in research and development. So, I'm saying, by the grace of God, in the days ahead, things can only be better. Because the supposed funds that is in dispute from 2009, the negotiations up to today, we have it somewhere. On behalf of this country. So what is remaining now is for the government to sit down with us. When I mean us, I represent the team I'm speaking for. The federal government is aware. Sit with us. We have provided solution. Even as it affects the 2022 budget of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, we provided solution to augment the shortfall. But of course, for reasons here and there. So I'm saying before the world, we have reached out to the global community on our plight in the last 12 years. And there are verifiable results to show that the development of this country is imminent. It's on the table. So we pray that this government, before their exit, will still sit with us and will begin to solve these problems. So solutions have been provided. So for us, for our students at home, you see, the more reason our students at home will vote out every other party is the more reason they allow this strike to linger. So, see, as much as we lament, but their failure will be our strength. Because the youth, wherever they are, they will return home to vote out every other person and vote in the Labour Party. So, let nobody make any mistake about it to think that because the strike, as much as we regret it, we pray that this strike issue is addressed soonest so that our students can return back and begin to build their capacity. But they have learned from this, because this is not just about them now, the posterity, our children. For me, I have children. We all have children. If we don't get it right now, it will be disastrous.
Thank you, Mr. Engineer Eragbe.
Thank you, sir.
I want to also find out from you. You are the candidate of your party, senatorial candidate of Labour Party in Edo North.
Edo North.
And you are aware Edo North is made up of 5 local governments. And
6.
5 local governments.
6
local governments.
Six.
Sorry, 6 local governments. Very sorry for that. And are you on ground? First of all, are you on ground?
Okay. I am on ground. Comrade Eragbe Anslem is on ground. First and foremost.
On ground in Onwa, on ground in Akoko, on ground in Esako?
I'm on ground in Edo State, not just in... I'm on ground in Nigeria. And I'm on ground in Edo State. Edo North Senatorial District is 6. For instance, when Comrade Oshiomhole my former governor, is my leader, is my father. I must accord him that due respect. When he was the NSC president, I was the student union president in ABU's area. So our comradeship and leadership status at that level date back 20 years thereabout, even though he came on the stage earlier. But as I time he was the NSC president, I was the first executive president of the student union government in ABU's area. You agree with me that ABU's area is the most cosmopolitan university in Nigeria, and it is the largest university sub-Saharan Africa, and we call it the greatest. Now, in ABU, Eragbe Anslem, if I enter any community today in Nigeria, I am recognized. Now, coming back to Edo North,
yes.
Which is my own primary constituency, yes. I'm from Isako East local government, Okokwe. As my wife is from Akoko Edo, the other end. So, beginning from family ties, from the beginning to the end, I have a spread. That is one. Two, I'm a young man that has been on ground in the last 20 years on the political stage. Particularly, my activities have been centered on youth engagement. I can tell you with respect to my former governor, with respect to him, but his time has come to an end politically. The reason because of the entrance of Comrade Eragbe Anslem. The reason I say that is because the youth of this country, the youth, His Excellency Governor Obaseki, even on the social space, you could allude to whatever you desire. He made it clear that Edos are obedient.
I saw the video.
Yes, Edos.
Is Obaseki an obedient?
Yeah, you see, Obaseki
is a PDP governor.
He's a PDP governor. For a sitting PDP governor to attest to the Labour Party presidential candidate and that Edo State and Edos are obedient, I mean, it shows the extent to which the people, see, it's about the people. Now, the governor, a sitting PDP governor speaking for another party presidential candidate, the extent to which his own people, because the governor would not have said that carelessly. No. He had looked inward, he had seen the disposition of the people and their commitment to this cause. And he aligned with the people. So that on its own is another weight anybody cannot take away. For instance, what else do you want me to say? In terms of the policies we are coming to implement, I'm going to be a senator by the grace of God. What's the work of a senator? It's legislation. For instance, I'm a metallurgical materials engineer, like I say. I understand the endowment, the natural endowment in the Edo North axis of the country. Now, of the wealth of nation endowed in Nigeria, Edo North has virtually those mineral elements that makes for greatness: gold, iron ore, limestone, fertile agricultural land, human capacity. Of course, you are aware with me, good enough, we are brothers from Edo State. God in his infinite mercy has gifted Edo people measurably in terms of human capacity. So all that is remaining is to make enabling legislations. Again, I said something here, even on the camera, to say, in the last 12 years, for those of us in the research sector, we have been able to put things in order to the extent that we have secured funding for this nation to advance the course of development of the research sector.
Do you have campaign structures in Edo North, in the 6 local government areas?
Now, on campaign structures,
I'm sure you know you are challenging the PDP and the APC.
Yes, on campaign structures, there are 2 kinds of structures here. First structure is the party structure. Now, what is the party structure? At the state level, you have the State Executive Council. Now, in every local government, the party has what is called the local government executive structure. The chairman, the secretary, all of those persons. Now, again, at the ward levels, the party has all the ward structure. You see, they may not have been as viable or as vibrant as they ought to be because we had not been in government at that level, so you can understand before now. That is one. We have all of those in place across the 6 local government. For instance, in your presence, I just spoke with the state chairman of the party over a program that is taking place in my own local government over the weekend, for instance, for the party. So, we have that. Even while I'm here, because I'm a national officer of the party, national youth leader of the Labour Party, I have a duty to the party. and to leadership. I have a duty to go around the country. I have a duty to continue to mobilize the youth. But my own local government is 6/774. Because people have asked me, how do you intend to cope with your... I say it's the same program. The program I read out earlier, what we have done, as I'm here now, I can tell you, I can look at our base now, I'll tell you, in Esako East, Opopo Ward 10, when I look at the database, we have so number, just with the click of a button. And similarly, I can tell you across all the wards in Esako East, West, Central, Akoko Edo, Owa, East, and West. Now, again, my own senatorial campaign organization is being set up. The leadership at home are doing their bit to identify men and women of capacity, youth of capacity to take these positions and prepare the ground. But because campaigns have not begun, so all we are doing now is putting in place those structures. So they are ongoing. So from now till mid-September, we would have been done with all of these structures to unveil them, and we prepare for the commencement of campaigns.
Do you also have people who are contesting for the House of Assembly and House of Rep and all of those in order to solidify your own structure?
Yes, certainly. Like I said, in Edo State, we have all, apart from the governorship elections, which will be 2024, we have the 3 senatorial candidates. I am one of the 3. For Edo North, there are 3 federal constituencies. For Etsako Federal Constituency, we have Honorable Abeni Aziz as our own member House of Rep candidate. Similarly for Onwa, similarly for Akoko Edo. Now, there are 23 State Assembly, House of Assembly positions in Edo State.
24?
23, 24, okay, but we have all of them. So Edo is fully covered. Likewise, every other state where elections will take place for the 2023 general election. So these are the structures. Now, we've gone from the party structure that I read out to my own senatorial campaign organizational structure that is being put in place to the individual candidate structures that will be put in place, that they are all being put in place as I speak now. Then ultimately to the power of the people. Because what's the power of the people? You are from Edo State, like I'm from Edo State. The feelers on ground already shows that Labour Party is the party of the day. The people are obedient and useful.
That is in Benin. In Edo North, Edo North, it seems it's a different ballgame. In Edo North, have you seen when a campaign, Oshiomhole's campaign or any other campaign is coming? Do you have that following? Popularity, mobilization?
Well, let me say this.
In as much as I want to encourage you to, please,
you see,
do you have that?
You see, needless, we're on the social space now.
Yes.
By September 28th, by the grace of God, the campaigns will have commenced effectively.
Yeah, September 28th.
Let me say this very mildly on the social space. When that time comes, by the grace of God, maybe you can invite me to the studio 2 weeks or a week after 28th of September. Then we can compare the followership physically in Edo North. Like I said, with due respect to my comrade leader and former governor, with due respect to him, because like I said, I don't...
Did you say you want to retire him politically?
Oh, certainly the people, a desire to retire, ordinarily.
But he's still agile and wanting to serve. He wants to serve.
It's not about the agility. It's about, he's a father. He's our father. I mean, at this age...
It's not about him. You have other people contesting in the PDP.
Oh, now, you see, these are the issues. What is the trend? They may not want to retire, but ideally he should retire. Ordinarily. Because, I mean, at what point, we are his children. Ordinarily. You see, there's so much required for effective...
What age are you now? What is your age?
I'm 49.
At 49, don't you think you should start from the State House of Assembly, then to House of Rep, then to Senate?
Okay, now...
Have you thought of that?
Now, let's say this. The constitutional age. What's the constitutional age for being a senator? 35 years.
We agree.
Now, what is the intellectual capacity required to deliver the task of a senator? I just read out here. If you put, needless to compare unnecessarily, but if you put me on the stage now with every other person that is aspiring for this office, you give it to me. Intellectually, are you getting it? Participation-wise, I said something here casually. I'm a metallurgical materials engineer. I'm a current registered engineer. I'm a professional. Now, I'm a youth mobilizer. Having been student president in Edo State, the first executive president, having been the national organizing secretary of the Academic Staff Union of Research Institutions in the last 12 years, having led a struggle that is putting so much on the table for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I mean, what else are you looking for in the capacity of a young man to deliver the task of legislation? But again, like I say, by the grace of God, when these campaigns begin in September, I'll have cause to come back here.
That's
then
wonderful.
you would have measured the capacity and the strength of, not just me now, of the people. Because we have seen that it is the people.
That's quite interesting. It's good having you. I think we'll be inviting you further to deepen this discussion. For those of us watching us, unfortunately, you don't have opportunity to call into the show now. Next time, we'll give you opportunity to call into the show. What is your final word on this program for Nigerians and for your constituents?
John Miyaki, first and foremost, my parting word will be to you first. I have watched you from a distance as a man that believes in the cause. You see, sometimes it becomes difficult when you have worked with a government and to have the courage to disagree at any point, at any level. Because part of the reasons we have been stuck in our own trade is because of psychophancy. So first and foremost, I will say you are a man of capacity. I've watched you, that said. And I encourage you as well to keep it up. Now, it's my pleasure to be with you.
My pleasure.
And I pray God will give me grace to come back severally. Now, to Labour Party, first, I want to thank the leadership of our party, represented by Barrister Julius Aburi. That's a young man, my elder brother and father. He's a young man, but let me give him that in the social space to say he is doing well. It takes a lot to arrive at where we are today. So on behalf of the National Working Committee, I thank our leader and the working committee. Again, quickly to our presidential candidate and vice presidential candidate, Their Excellencies Peter Obi and Yusuf Dati. They have put on the stage credibility. They have put on the stage purposefulness. The people are now encouraged to look up to them to deliver a new mission. And that mission is to rescue Nigeria and ultimately change the narratives from consumption to production. Again, like I said, that means is by engaging the people. And to Nigerians, Nigerians have never been this optimistic. And this optimism must be kept alive. So what you see, the passion, what keeps us going is that we can look back and see that the people are with us. And what is the desire of the people? A stable country, a progressive and productive country, where the youth of this country can sufficiently be engaged. And again, because the Lord God Almighty has endowed us both human and material resources, all that is remaining is leadership. So it is the hallmark that Obi and Dati epitomizes. So I'm only to encourage us as a people to be steadfast, keep our eyes on the ball, to say our candidates are committed to this cause, and the least we can do is to continue to be steadfast, to be obedient and useful.
Thank you so very much. I want to appreciate those of you watching us live on the John Mayaki Show on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter. This is the much we can take for today. We'll be having him more of the time on this show. We want to appreciate you once more for coming, and congratulations being the senatorial candidate of your party, Edo North. Thank you so very much. We want to appreciate once more. Bye for now.
Thank you very much.